Testing, 1 2 1 2. Welcome to House Culture Conversations. We are ready in 3, 2. What's happening, DJ Dewey B?
What's up, DJ DLott? DLott in the house. Good to see you, brother.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. How was the week?
Not too bad. A lot of work, man. A lot of work. The rail just don't stop, brother.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, well, we're going into that busy time, holiday seasons, right?
Yeah.
Hey, well, I want to tell you, it was so good to see you a couple weeks ago at the Mendel Bi-Level reunion at the House of Blues. Fire. Great time.
Yes, it was.
Great time, man. Hey, and that's what this show is all about. We're going to bring the DJ that kicked it off that night, our fellow Mendel Monarch Stevie B. What's happening?
Hey, Blue Smoke.
What's up, Blue Smoke? In the house.
That's right, Blue Smoke. Good to see you.
Good to see you, brothers, again.
Yes. Now, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, number one. Really appreciate this. Like y'all was saying, the work never stops.
Yeah. Everybody been safe with, the weather and COVID. I mean, I guess COVID ain't a thing no more, but I guess we can't write it off. It's here forever, I guess.
Yeah, they got to deal with what's handed to us, basically.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, where you come from, where you went to school, all that good stuff.
From where the heart of 250 East 111 started, it's that. I'm from Roseland. I literally live 4 blocks away from the school. So I walked every day, never took a bus. So I think you guys left when I was coming in. I came in at 84.
Yeah. You was coming in, catching that fire. And that fire, and you just rode it on in.
What attracted me to come to that, I got into house music, let's say around 83. So I was young, obviously. When you're recruiting from Mendel, they give you the free little bi-level passes. So I went in like 8th grade, checked it out, like, yeah, that's where I need to be at.
Hey, DJ Dewey B, and that around that time, that was a height. I mean, that we were really taking off at that point.
Yeah. The parties was outstanding.
What's happening, Candy Lady? It's good to see you. We are in the house with DJ Stevie B. As you know, he kicked us off a couple of weeks ago at the House of Blues and really kicked things off and jumped it off. I mean, you did an outstanding job getting that party going and priming the pump. It was just a magical evening. As we think about this thing called house, why do you think it's so popular today and continues to just expand all over the world?
Because the music is so diverse. It's because we've listened to, I think the thing about our generation, we listen to everything: jazz, blues, gospel, hip hop, R&B, disco, Chicago house. So it's kind of expanded. A lot of people are remixing the old R&B songs we just used to listen to in the day and making a nice spin on them, and a lot of disco edits are getting refreshed and, putting a more newer spin on it. I think the newer spin attracts the younger audience because they don't really know the rhythm and the tempo we used to dance at, because it wasn't all we jumping up and down all the way. It was like a groove, and then we built up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, DJ Dewey B, he talked about, the diversity of the music. Talk a little bit about that.
We need that. That's what life is all about, man. You can't be a singularity in a world full of complex situations. You need differences. We need differences. The thing about house music was it was all inclusive for everyone. You didn't have to be in no gang. You didn't have to be a part of this, that, and the other. You could just come in and get your party on and enjoy yourself. And that's the main thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting, as you were talking about that, Stevie B, because, it almost says as a DJ, you really can't play a wrong song.
Right.
I
Not a
mean,
not a house typically.
there's the crowd. Obviously, they want to hear the favorites. They always waiting for that one to come on. But for the most part,
you gotta understand the assignment. It was a Mendel party, so we gotta go the Mendel route. You know what I mean? So then you can, venture off to some newer material stuff. But that's what I tried to keep the tone at around the Mendel era and kept it going that route. And then, like I said, everybody was outstanding.
yeah, it was a really good night. As you think about your influences, you said you fell in love with house, eighth grade, came to a bi-level, and that was it for you. When did you start DJing? What was it about DJing that attracted you so much?
Honestly, one of my friends I grew up with actually in the neighborhood. He actually influenced me to DJ. He already had equipment and stuff, and I was going around messing around and stuff. We messed around. We used to have the little memory. I don't know if you guys had it, but we had like the little DJ contest in the lounge. Lunchtime. I don't know if you guys had that, but we did the years I was there, and he did fairly well. He came in like third. I think like Nick and Diego, they pretty much was the main DJs when I was there. So I was just a little tight trying to just fit in. I think I really emerged after I left Mendel, but that's where it began. And I was already a record collector from since 10 years old. So my mom had extensive records, like I said, from jazz, blues, R&B, disco, and I live right up the street from the Metro Music, right there on 103rd. So I would just take my allowance, go up there and buy 12 inches.
I mean, that's a common theme, Dewey.
Yep.
DJs buy music. Even before they were DJs, they bought music.
Right. Yeah, we would just listen to records. My mom, we would clean up. We would call it Clean Up Sunday. So I'm sure y'all remember this name. We would listen to LaDonna Tittle on JPC on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And she would say titles of songs. I'm like, man, Mom, that's a jam. That's a jam. So I would write it down, run up to Metro Music and get it.
Now, Dewey, you had a similar experience where you were around music and actually a record store.
Yeah, my dad owned a record store when I was just a youngster in the 70s. But I've been to that Metro Music. I can't remember the name of it before it was Metro Music, but I've been to that one a bunch of times. Also, there was one on 87th Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to that one too. Wherever I can find some records,
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's it.
We get on the 87th Street bus, go there, or walk up the street. It didn't matter.
That's it. Tittle in the middle. Candy Lady remembers.
He's a classic, a Hall of Famer, I would say.
That's it. So, Stevie B, who were some of your influences when you were coming up? Obviously, you had a couple close friends that you rolled with, but who were some of those DJs or VIPs or people that you really had a lot of respect for back then?
There's a cluster of people, but I'll say primarily, definitely Frankie, Ron Hardy, Little Lewis. Currently Gene Hunt, Andre Hatchett, Mike Dunn, Terry Hunter, and I personally know these guys and I've worked with them, so a lot of influence by them as well. Farley.
Yeah.
So I think everybody started at least listening to BMX or KKC, one of the two, or if not both. I know I used to have 2 tape decks. Tape Bobby Q Bobby and them on KKC and whatnot. I would wait for Frankie or Farley to come on BMX or whatever, and man, I have my tapes, Tone Masters.
That's it. Hey, you're listening to House Culture Conversations, DJ Dewey B, DJ DLott, and our guest, Stevie B, fellow Mendel Monarch, and we're chopping it up, talking about the music that we love and the culture. And I tell you what, Dewey, when we always think about back in the day and we think about those influences, we always see, a group of names that continually show up. Why do you think those guys have stood the test of time?
because they were the greatest. They were the Michael Jordans of our era, if you want to look at it like that. Michael Jordan's a DJ, and Frankie Knuckles and Ron Hardy. Every DJ is a offshoot of either Frankie Knuckles or Ron Hardy. Every single one of us is always, that was the epitome of success, is to be like Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah,
DJ.
Definitely.
That's just the bottom line of it.
Definitely.
In Chicago, let's just say. Larry Levan in New York. There's a whole bunch of great DJs, man.
That's real talk. That's real talk. Now, Stevie B, you also are a creator. You're a producer. Talk a little bit about how you got into that work.
Actually, I used to just mess around with edits as my DJ career progressed because short summary of my life, after going to Mendel, I started out of FAMU, but couldn't afford to stay there. So I ended up transferring and ended up finishing in Northern. Mm-hmm. So I finished Northern, I went into service. So I went into service and went different variations of from the United States to I was overseas. I was in Japan, Korea, and Guam. So over there, I was surprised they didn't like his house as much as I thought they did. Mm-hmm. So I was primarily playing hip hop and R&B, but it was a good stepping stone to get going. And I actually had a little TV show there, and then I progressed very well. Then moved back home and actually enrolled in KKC because I wanted to go into broadcasting. So did that. I had a show on KKC for a couple of years, and that's where it started. But I was back to what your question was, editing. So I was just messing around with edits, and a couple of people's like, man, they like my edits and stuff. Have you thought about producing? And I was like, not really. I was just messing around. So actually, a friend of mine, because I work at Guitar Center part-time, so a friend of mine came in there and selling them some recording items. And I was like, man, a lot of people say I should get this recording. He said, well, I'll give you a free program, i.e. Ableton Live. And I sat on it for like 2 years. And I just decided, you know what, let me get some lessons on it. So went to YouTube University like everybody else go and just figured it out. And I've been creating the last 5.5, 6 years.
That's awesome. Now you've got a Bandcamp site. Tell everybody where they can go check you out.
You can check me out on my Bandcamp. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to. I got it right here. Okay. It's StevieB2.bandcamp.com. That's StevieB, the number 2.bandcamp.com. And I'm on TrackSource too. I got some original tracks on TrackSource and Beatport.
Make sure I got it right. I got it up there for the people where you guys can check out some heat.
And you can definitely find me on TrackSource and Beatport.
All right. Well, hey, we'll definitely be on the lookout and be looking to play that music for sure.
Right. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. What are some of you span at Mendel, right? And so you span a lot of parties. What are a couple of your fondest memories from back in the day?
Probably when Jamie Principal was there. I think it was like my freshman or sophomore year. They had to smoke, and he came out and he sang "Your Love," and it was awesome. That's probably the most memorable moment. I think Ron Hardy played. That was the first time I heard Ron Hardy that night. And then you had a lot of significant instrumental songs that came out at Mendel too, because now the fans of the music probably aren't like we were then. When somebody break a new cut out, we just was like hypnotized. So I remember significantly when We're Rocking Down the House came out.
Oh, yeah.
So we had Ferris was spinning at the time. That's another influence with Ferris Thomas, because he did a lot of Mendel parties. So Ferris was playing and he threw on We're Rocking Down the House, and I was out talking to a chick, and I was like, hold on, I'll be back. I walked up, I'm like, what is that? And somebody found out for me, and I was just like, man, there's just nothing like that Chicago sound at that time.
Yeah, yeah. Dewey, what song was it for you?
I think the anthem, the Move Your Body, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What about you, Dewey?
For me, what was my favorite house record back then?
Yeah, that just came out when there was a new one, and you was like, "Yeah, what's that jam?"
Man, I'm gonna go back way back to a tape I had of Steve Hurley. I Can't Turn Around. So for
Okay.
me,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
it for me. And anything Jamie Principle made, you remember Jamie Principle for us was like Prince,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything Jamie Principle made was
Yeah.
like,
It was
yeah,
hot. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you say Hurley, yeah, I can't turn around, but remember he made that instrumental version of it, and it broke
That's
down real hard. Oh,
that's
God.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And Jack Your Body, he had a
Yeah.
bunch of them.
Yeah, because it started out with that violin.
Yeah.
It built it. It just, you could feel it was about to just go. Everybody went berserk, man.
It was a 4-track. It was a 4-track version of his
Yeah.
later hits. And I'm
Nah.
still searching for that, to tell you honestly. Still searching.
I got you. I got my hand on a copy of that.
Let me know. Let me know.
Got you.
Hey, you're listening to House Culture Conversation, and you're listening to brothers that have gotten caught up just thinking about the first time they heard a new cut on the dance floor that was played, whether it was Jamie Principle, whether it was Steve Hurley. I Can't Turn Around, but you just went nuts. And you had to find out what that track was. Then when you got it, you couldn't wait to play it, right?
We went down to that era. We're going to imports.
Mm-hmm.
Right there on Plymouth Court. Yeah.
Mhm.
So one more cut I remember they dropped. I don't remember who played this, but when they dropped that, it was a couple, but when they dropped that Strings of Life, these guys, they was the Detroit guys, right? That made Strings of Life. They had another few cuts before Strings of Life came out. They had like Move It, Nude Photo, and all that. And all they dropped all that stuff, all that time. I had all of that stuff.
Yeah, that Stranger Life was that was different. I mean, you had those. I mean, what was that one song? Marshall Jefferson's cut was also there were cuts that came out that just kind of leveled it up.
Right.
And Strings of Life was one of those ones that was like, oh,
that was another atmosphere there.
Yeah, that's a step up.
I mean, technically, they claiming that's techno. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, if you ask the guys, they claim that's techno. So
they probably made more techno records than they did what we would consider house records.
Yeah.
Right. He was calling it club or house.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were the first cats to use a 909, actually.
Right.
Well, I always follow Dewey's lead when he says, "Man, why we got to try to figure out what to call it? It's great music. It's great music. It's a great vibe.
So many subgenres now. It's crazy.
Yeah. And people try to argue what it goes in.
How do you break it down to that?
Right.
Tech house, Afro tech house. I mean, what's the difference between Afro and Afro tech house? Okay.
Mm-hmm. If you jack into it, it's good. If you can move your body to it, you good. That's all we got to say to that.
Right.
So Jamie Principle being at Mendel. Now, was that at a regular bi-level?
Yeah, well, they had big advertisement. Remember, they used to put the Mendel posters on the poles everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big party.
Do y'all remember that? It's like you don't even see that anymore, but it used to be every light pole in the city would have a party poster on it.
Nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So Jamie Principle, that's one. What's another one of your fond memories from back in the day?
Probably the time Frankie and Andre played together one time. That was pretty memorable. Because
that was another Mendel bi-level
party. But the most memorable parties gotta be the Bismarck.
Oh, the Bismarck. Okay.
When the Lewis emerged, from the Bismarck to I know you guys at least went to Medusa's once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you go to Medusa's and the Bismarck. Man, those are definitely memorable parties.
That's it. That's it.
And then, like I said, the music has started emerging more. More newer stuff was coming out. I think we getting into the late '80s, '90s. So we talking about like dance stuff like that was coming out. Oh yeah, that was definitely memorable because Lewis had a live saxophone player while he played dance. He had a guy. He put a spotlight on him on the other side of. Because you remember back then we DJ'd up in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss those days because it's like you could just zone out and nobody in your face. Da da da. So he had a saxophone player opposite side of the Bismarck, and then when that horn part come on, he hit the light on. Lewis was very creative. Hit that light on, and he blew it. Dun, 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 dun. Man, memorable. Yeah, he used to have some great parties.
Now we've been shut in for a couple of years, right? And we're starting to see parties emerge through this past summer and going forward. What's that been like for you coming out of that virtual streaming world? And now I don't know if you were streaming, but we all were caught up in it
a little bit, but my schedule got a little hectic. So, but coming out of that, it's been kind of tough because it's gone a little different direction. Nothing against the direction they're going. They're trying to get, I guess, more females into the craft, and then some pretty good females. Obviously, Alicia was one of them. That's getting down, and so they're emerging. Personally, I think some aren't as ready as they think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and it's a tough crowd because and then a lot of the crowd has changed because I remember the crowd made or breaks your career back in the day, because it ain't nothing like getting booed by 70, 80, 100 people.
Yeah.
Or saying somebody walking up to you telling you in your face you're terrible. I got plenty of horror stories. So, but it builds character.
Yeah.
You either want to give up or you want to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you bring up a good point. What happened during this whole streaming thing is so many people got into it.
Yeah.
So many people have gotten into it. And, it's really watered down so much of the craft. And to your point, there's a lot of people out there that just
technology.
Yeah, they're just leveraging technology to play records.
And me being a salesman at Guitar Center, it's hard because I came up when people booed you, vinyl. I went to every stage of DJing, cassettes, vinyl, CD, Serato, USB sticks, whatever platform we went to. I went through every measure of that, and then somebody comes in, hey, I want a DJ, and I'm like, I still got to get paid, yeah, hey, I want to buy this $1,500 controller. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna climb up that ladder and sell them a controller. I mean, I'm not gonna say, well, you can't DJ, you didn't start on vinyl. We get them arguments all the time. So, technology, but you got to embrace it because there's a lot of good stuff. Even as currently as we DJ, you got to like the fact, hey, our backs ain't as strong as
right? Thank goodness we ain't carrying crates no more.
Yeah, with a little wallet of flash drives and some headphones. Hey, I like that deal.
Me too.
Now, DJ Dewey B, your perspective on what happened when we started streaming and so many people. It just takes going on Twitch one day and seeing the number of streamers out there that are streaming music.
It is what it is, man. I don't play for anyone but myself mostly. I buy records for myself. I play for me. I like what I like and I play it. And if you like it too, I invite you to join me. Yeah. And if not, join somebody else, but join something, buy something.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's a positive vibe because at the end of the day, Stevie B said it. We got to embrace it. Yeah. It's how it's evolving. The mystery of the mix is kind of gone, right? Remember, we used to mix records and black out the song, not letting people know what it was and all of that. Now it's kind of a blue ocean. It's open and everybody can participate.
And sound hog or whatever the other thing's called.
Yeah.
I think Google now got a platform where they can find the song out now. So
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's on the flip side of that, sometimes it's overwhelming because a couple of people have played some original tracks of mine. And I've seen them party bopping and this and that. And, you know, just jokingly, I'm like, man, you know who made that? They're like, nah. He's like, this kind of Shazam it. So they Shazam it. And they're like, man, that's you? You're like, yeah, I was just messing with you. So it's kind of overwhelming a little bit too.
It is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, where do you see this going? Right, we've had, you know, coming up the history of house and all of that, and we have present day. Where do you see this thing going, Stevie B?
It can go a couple of directions. I think, you know, they're trying to. I don't know if you guys heard of a young guy named J Star.
I have not.
Okay, the young DJ, like 21. Actually, he's one of my customers.
Okay.
Like 21 years old. He's been on the circuit the last year and a half. He did Chosen Few this summer and this and that. Very knowledgeable DJ. I think nothing against him. I think he's 10 years too late. Meaning we needed to grasp his age group 10 years ago to keep it going now.
Interesting.
The fact that we're getting old. And I'm more on the real life aspect. I have a 16-year-old son. He's a student. He's about to transition to college. I can't be at the parties like that all the time. But most of the parties are at nighttime. So that's another direction. If they want to keep us involved, our age group involved, we need more day parties. Or after work parties.
Yeah.
Because going out on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, it's probably not going to work for me. My son plays soccer, he in a chess club. I'm tired. But after his activities, if he's a party going at 6 or 7 o'clock, I can catch the back end. It's over at 10. I'm cool with that. I'm in bed about 10:30, 11. All right. But staying out and you want to hear your favorite DJ, you don't come to 11:30, 12. I got to be up at 4. Or the main DJ got to start playing earlier. Something got to change.
Man, I hear DJ Dewey B and myself. We talk about that often. Like, how about a 4 to 10?
But like today, it was nothing. This was a decent day weather-wise. We could have had a party today somewhere from, like you said, from 4 to 10 for our age group. Primarily my age group, because like I said, we're transitioning, we're getting older, we're thinking about retirement. I know I'm 4 or 5 years away from retiring. You know, I definitely ain't gonna want to stay out late after retiring. I want some early parties.
We're gonna be having morning parties at McDonald's where everybody got their coffee and egg.
Party we did, I had to take a nap because I had to work Sunday morning, so I knew I had to take a nap just to stay out till 10 something. So
that's it. Hey, well, this has been insightful. I agree with you. This perspective of, for, you know, preserving, at least for our group, you know, the culture. We're gonna have to move to some day parties.
Yeah, if you go to the parties currently, primarily it's our age group. Yeah, it's no guys like J Star's age or anything like that. 25, he's around 24, 25. Ain't done many. And that's what's going to keep the culture going. Because, I mean, eventually we're going to be in our 60s and 70s. We're not going to be in on parties of 70, 65, 70 years old.
We're not going to be there late. We might go at the
come at all. You know,
that's right. That's when we're gonna really appreciate streaming, right? They're like, can y'all stream that? Yeah.
And we'll be transitioning. We probably have grandchildren if y'all don't already have any already. You know.
There it is. Hey, well, it's been just a blast hanging out with you, Stevie B. Tell folks how they can follow you. We know we got you on Bandcamp. I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull that up again. But where else can people check you out?
I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is instagram.com/new classic, NU classic 007. I got all my mixes are on Mixcloud. I'm on mixcloud.com/Stevie B 1970. That's Stevie B 1970 on Mixcloud. And you could get most of my links off of my Instagram page. Just hit my link in my bio and you can follow me right now. I'm also on I'm still on KKC every Friday night, 8 to 9. It's my slot.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good to know. KKC. All right.
Going in Friday night audio, me, Brian Fraser, some other younger DJs that emerged. And but I think me and Brian are the original people. So still,
Yeah.
so yeah. Brian comes on actually an hour before me. He's 7 to 8 and I'm 8 to 9.
All right. Hey, well, we appreciate you so much, DJ Dewey B. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I got a quick final thought for the Mendel guys that played on a couple weeks ago. You know, there were a lot of DJs that played at Mendel that we don't acknowledge as much as we should. Like Stevie B said, Ferris Thomas, Lil John Coleman, Wall to Wall Sounds, John Hunt. You know, a lot of those DJs played the whole summer series at Mendel, and we should probably acknowledge them more because they were a big part of our success at Mendel. That's for sure.
Hey, I appreciate that. Well said. Well said. Well, hey, that's it for us tonight. House Culture Conversation signing out. Amazing conversation with Stevie B. We're going to catch you next time. Peace.
All right. Appreciate you. Blue
Peace.
Smoke.
Blue Smoke.
All right.